So good morning, everybody. It's Kim from Inside My Money, just doing another short video on Homebank. So today we're going to focus on splitting out expenses. Now, I do split expenses because I also have a small business, and so I can deduct some of my home expenses, like my power, phone rates, from my tax. So if you are wanting to do that, then using Homebank for split expenses is really easy. So what we have here is, if we apply this to our fictitious characters, Abby and Sam. So let's say that they have this credit card and they paid some money out for phone, and some of that they can deduct through their taxes. Now, just make sure, obviously, that you understand your own tax rules. But here in New Zealand, we can deduct some of that. So we would go into transaction, add, and you see this little button here is the split. So today is the 8th of April. So say we've paid $100 to our phone bill, and we would categorize that, but we wouldn't categorize it down here. We would click split. So transaction splits. So now you go into category. If I put in phone, you can see I've got telephone and internet. Actually, I'll use electricity, use power as an example, and we'll go through the business. Oh, we haven't set up business for them, but anyway, let's do it this way. Let's go phone and go telephone and internet. And we would go 50% deductible to business, and we would put in minus $50. And then you click the plus sign. Then we would go telephone again. And now, because we've written down telephone and internet business up here, we've actually created an extra category for ourselves. So that's actually another really easy way of creating categories, is you just type in the category you want to send that money to, and if it's new, it will create the new category. You don't have to go the long way through the other manage on the main menu. So if we go telephone and internet, and this is going to be the 50% non-deductible, which is personal, and then go plus. And now you can see that you total up to your $100. So you've got here showing down the bottom the transaction amount unassigned. So if we had forgotten to assign some money, then it would show an unassigned. And then the sum of the splits is 100. And then you go OK. And you don't need to categorize down here because you've done it up in your split. So we might make the payee, we'll just put phone company. And then we go add, and then close. Now, with transactions, just a quick little demo here of something else. Let's say, for instance, we wanted to put in petrol. So let's say we spent $150 on petrol, and we'll put in car expenses petrol. And if you have got, say you've got two cars and you're putting in quite a few petrol transactions, and you don't want to have to keep typing all this out again, then you can just go add and keep, and that keeps everything the same, but it adds it to the top. And then you can just change the date and the amount, and you don't have to keep doing the category over and over again. So that's just a new trick. So let's say we had two cars, and we spent on that one, let's say we only spent $90 on that one. It's still petrol, and say we did it maybe a couple of days later, then all we're doing is changing the date and the amount, and we don't have to worry about changing anything else. And we go add. If you go add, it clears everything except the date, but if you go add and keep, it keeps all of your information, and you just overtype it. So then if we go up to the credit card, we can see that we've got our one for the phone. We just drag our payee out. One for the phone, and that is now split. And we've got our car expenses, one for petrol for 150, and then the other one for 90. So if we close that one out, we go up to reports and statistics, Then if we go for just this current month, so under all date, and we'll go this month, and it should just show us those three. And if you want to go, you can go total, but there's no income to show, so we'll go expense. And remember, if you choose time, then it will show you it across the months and give you the average. But for this thing, we're just going to do total. And I've got percentages here, but we don't need that, so we just click up here to get rid of that. So now when I click on car expenses, then you can see the breakdown. And then because we split between internet, personal, and business, then we now have those two split out. So what you can then do then is if you're doing your business accounts at the end of a month, you can pick up all of your business expenses and put that across into your business accounts. So then what I do is I do one bill to the business once a month and ask the business to reimburse us for those business expenses that we've paid personally on the credit card. So the other way that splits would help is if you have one big bill for the car. Say, for instance, you've got a special card you use for all of your car expenses, and on there goes petrol, maintenance, warrant of fitnesses, registration, and you've got one total and you don't want to put in individual transactions. You could put in your one total, say that was $500, and then in the split transactions, you can say, right, I want 100 going to petrol, I want 100 going to maintenance, I want 100 going to this. So you can actually just make it that instead of putting in 5 transactions into your Homebank, you put in 1, but you split that out. So let's show you what I mean by that. So if we go transactions, add. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, right, well, we've got one big bill for the month, and I don't want to have to split that into 5 different transactions, so I'm going to split it, and I'm going to say the category was petrol, and maybe that was, we just put, Memo could be anything. You don't have to write anything in Memo. We'll just put portion of petrol, and we put in minus, say, 250, and go plus, and see we've still got 250 unassigned. Maybe we had to do the registration. So we go car expenses again. Let's see, we have maintenance, petrol. We can actually put down, let's go make a new category, expenses, and we'd go the 2 dots, and we could put WOF, warrant of fitness, and rego, and then we just put the this is the registration. Maybe that cost $100, and go plus, and then the last one, car expenses, and see now we've got WOF and registration. We've created a new category, maintenance, and maybe that was, let's say, a new tire, and that was negative $150 plus, and now we've completely used our 500, but we haven't had to do individual transactions for all of that. So then when you're back here and you say you've done your split, so we've got the breakdown of petrol, registration, and new tires, we go OK, and then when we go add, remember to go add, then we close that, and there is our $500. So if we go out of there and we go up into our reports, statistics, and we look at this last month, say this month at the moment, there we see our car expenses, and we have the split. Now you're not going to see it as individual transactions down here. You are going to see the split. So that's the only downside, is at this point you've got all of that split into, you've got all of it split, but you've got only one line in the actual account. You can't see the full breakdown. So if you were wanting to then take those numbers and put them into something else so you can see how much you're spending on petrol or maintenance or warrant of fitness, then you would have to open that up, look at your split, and then add those up individually. So the advantage of doing the split is that you can put in one line and split them out. The disadvantage is that in order to see the detail of that, you then have to open up that split again and look at what they are. You can't quickly see it from this point here. Now, it can be quite useful to see it from this point, because what I then do is I have a separate little budget spreadsheet that I use, and I'm just each month just tracking to see how things are going. You can use the budgeting in Homebank, but I also like to have just a little spreadsheet, and it just helps me sort of give me a different picture. So that's how you do a split and the pros and cons of it. It is very helpful if you're doing from a business point of view. It's good if you don't want to have to put in lots of individual transactions, but it also means you might have to do a little bit more work if you're trying to analyze where your money's going. So I hope that helps. So if you've got any other questions or things that you want me to have a look at, just let me know in the comments section, and I'll talk to you again soon.